Bismillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guys. Welcome to yet another edition in the marriage conversation. Yes, it is season 3. Alhamdulillah, we're out here. Okay, we've had over 800,000 views of the marriage conversation so far. I just want to say a big jazakAllahu khairan to every single one of you that has watched, that has shared, that has commented, that has liked, and that has subscribed to the channel. We are more or less around 40,000. So alhamdulillah, we keep going, mashallah. But today I have a very special guest, and those of you who've seen season 1 or season 2, actually, you will recognize his face. Those of you who were part of the intimacy conversation, you recognize his face, and you may recognize his face anyway. It's Baba Ali. Assalamu alaikum, Baba Ali.
Wa alaikum salam. Great to be back on your show again, mashallah. I'm excited.
You know, you're the one who's excited, but I think everyone else is going to be even more excited because, guys, guess what? If you watched our last conversation, then you know that Baba Ali is now full on with helping Muslims get married, right? With Half Our Deen, Half Deen. He's out here connecting Muslims, mashallah, tabarakallah. And those of you who actually you found your spouses on Baba Ali's platform, thank you so much for your comments. We saw your comments on the videos and mashallah, was so heartwarming. But if you heard the last conversation, you'll know that Baba Ali has put together a really unique way for Muslims to meet, but he's never been to the UK with it. And guess what is happening this year, inshallah, in November? The special experience is coming to the UK, guys. Yes. Baba Ali is coming to the UK with his special matchmaking experience, which you're going to hear more about, inshallah. Brother, you will tell us more about it, won't you, later on in the show, right?
Of course I will, inshallah.
Excellent.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's going to be epic, inshallah. It's going to be epic. So, guys, we're going to let you know more about the event and how to get your tickets and the process for being selected for the experience, because it is a selective process. But before we get there, I put to you, didn't I, Brother Ali, how today, in today's day and age, there's so much online communication, right? Everybody's communicating online. A lot of the times Muslims are on apps, which I know you hate, mashallah. Exactly. Swiping left and right, getting exactly. But I think that we are losing, or maybe we never had, the etiquette or the art of connecting with people, truly connecting with people, right? Especially when we're looking for a spouse. So today, really, I wanted to give you the floor to help our audience to understand, from your vast experience, the do's and don'ts of meeting somebody for the first time, whether that is in an online conversation or in real life. We want you to teach us, Sensei, teach us, okay, the do's and don'ts of this. Exactly. Please, inshallah. What do you have to say about that?
Yes. So all of you who've been looking to get married, you know what you've been doing. You've probably been doing swiping, or you've been going into live person events. And whenever we get into a situation where we're trying to actually communicate with somebody, the etiquette of communicating is extremely important. Some of us don't know what to say. Some of us ask terrible questions. Some of us don't do things Islamically with barakah in it, and we watch things fall apart. And when myself, learning through an experience of doing this for 12 years, nearly 12 years of helping Muslims get married, I want to share with you some of the tips of what I found to be very successful. One of the things you want to know is make sure you have a game plan. You know exactly what you're looking for. Some of us don't know what we're looking for, so we just ask for, okay, what are you guys all looking for? So generally you'll say, okay, I'm looking for a good Muslim who fasts, who prays, who doesn't lie, etc., etc. But that's basically what everybody else is looking for. What is making specifically you are looking for that may be different than what other people are looking for? So in order for people not to give you the answers you want to hear, one of the ways I did it when I was looking to get married, I came up with questions that didn't have right or wrong answers, and that's why I was able to filter the different people I was speaking to. So, for example, let's say it's very important for you to live where you are, like you don't want to move, right? So you ask a question asking, if you found the right person, would you relocate to a location of your spouse because you found the ideal match? Or even with that situation, you still want to relocate because maybe it's a job that won't let you move, or your parents, you're inclined to taking care of your parents, or something of that situation. So when I ask specific type of questions that are my deal breakers, I can quickly filter down the people I don't want to waste time with. The biggest issue I've noticed when Muslims are looking to get married is they don't filter. Like they will pretty much like, okay, I think this seems like a pretty attractive person. Let me start talking to them. And you start talking to them for a month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year passes go by. They haven't met your wali. They're not interested in like the real conversation of marriage. They're talking about some vulgar things. They're talking about things that girlfriend, boyfriends talk about, not what husband and wife, people want to be husband and wife talk about. And you end up wasting so much of your precious time with a bunch of people that were not compatible with you in the first place. So what I do, and what I'm trying to give you guys advice, is the first thing I do is filter. So how do I filter? For example, like sisters, if you're talking to a brother, ask yourself, how far has this guy come to speak to me? Like, what has he sacrificed to come and speak to me for marriage? Like, people who come to my matrimonial events, what do? This brother has joined a website. My website is not a typical website where you just have to put your picture, your first name, and your age. No, people answer 158 marriage questions. They take a personality test. They list up their priorities. They write their interests. All this information, which takes about 20, 25 minutes to do, that's a first level of filter. The second level of filter is he actually flew down to speak to you. How many brothers fly down or drive or come from great distances just to meet you and your family? Very few. Then the next step is what? How does he do it? He does it through the Islamic way. He does things in the right way. There's many ways to do things. He doesn't cut corners and be like a little dodgy. No, he's really ready to speak to your wali. He's ready to be serious from the very beginning and ask, like, keep things professional, inshallah. All of these filters down to like, now it's worth my time to give to this person to speak about marriage. But what we do is we just say, wow, there's a lot of people looking to get married. I guess it's worth it. Let me just talk to these people. And you end up wasting so much time. How many of you have spoken to people for months and it went nowhere? Some of you over a year, it went nowhere. And your time is gone. You'll never get back your 26-year-old self. You'll never get back to 29-year-old self. 1 year passes, another year passes, another year passes. And now you find yourself in a predicament. And you're like, what am I going to do now? Now I can't be as selective as I wanted to be. And now I've spoken to so many different people and I really need to get married. And then you start dropping your conditions of what you want.
Okay. So first thing I'm hearing is go in with a game plan. So whether it's online or in person, have a game plan. That game plan includes your deal breakers, right? And ask about the deal breakers in a way that is neutral, Yani. Right.
5 deal breakers. Have 5 deal breaker questions ready to go.
So we want 5 deal breaker questions, guys, out of the gate. Okay. These are deal breakers. Baba Ali, what is the definition of a deal breaker?
A deal breaker is if the person says no from the very beginning, you're not going to waste your time with them. For example, would you marry someone outside your ethnicity? Now, let's say I'm speaking to a sister who's from South Asia. I'm not from South Asia. And she says, no, I won't interested in my parents and myself. We want only someone within South Asia. Why are we wasting our time?
Khalas.
We're not wasting. Are you willing to relocate? If I'm a brother and I'm marrying a sister and I'm saying, are you willing to relocate? No, I want to live in Ireland. Okay, I'm not moving to Ireland. So deal breaker. So whatever your deal breaker is done. You know, whatever your deal breaker, do you smoke? And the guy or girl says, yes, I'm not interested, deal breaker. Whatever your deal breaker is, you break those deals down so you don't waste time at the very beginning. This is, by the way, on our website, we do that. We have people have their 5 deal breaker questions. And if you want to talk to me, answer my deal breaker questions. Let me see your answers first. And then I'll spend my time.
Okay. And I like the fact that there is actually a numerical limit on the deal breakers. So it's only 5, guys. Okay. So all of you who are going through that long list and saying, not this, not that, not this, not that, you're only allowed 5, guys. Okay. So just like pattern up, rein it in. These are serious things, right? These are things I'm assuming that these are the types of issues that you are not prepared to compromise on and will not tolerate, correct?
Yes. Do you drink alcohol? Not interested.
Right.
Like all these different things that I'm not interested. And you see, unfortunately, we see more and more Muslims involved with alcohol. And if that's something that either they do it casually, or if you're struggling with it, I don't want to even get involved with someone dealing with alcohol. Like that's not my interest. May Allah guide you to someone better, but that's not my cup of tea. If that's your world, that's your world. But I need to spend my time, my precious time, with people who are most likely to be compatible with me.
But brother, the problem now is that this is actually a very serious issue, right? Because if, as Muslims, we can't take those types of things for granted, we might use up all our deal breakers, right? We actually literally might use up our deal breakers on if you don't pray, no. If you don't fast, no. If you drink alcohol, no. Okay, I've only got 2 left. So what do you think about this? Because there was a very interesting post that a sister put up online, and it got a lot of attention. And she was talking, she gave a list of the things we're talking about: praying salah, attending Jummah was one of them, not drinking alcohol, fasting. It was a list of maybe 6 things, these types of simple, basic things. And her point was, sisters are being told that this list is too strict, that sisters need to lower their standards from this basic list. And she was upset about it, to be expected. But I mean, is that where we are now, within the community? Where are we at?
Is you have to ask yourself, who is asking to reduce this list? The person who's asking for you to reduce this list is possibly that person who qualifies for a bunch of these, and they feel themselves that they're not marriageable. They no longer fall into category. So these are the people saying lower the list. The practicing Muslims are never going to ask you to, hey, lower your list. Why is alcohol such a big issue for you? So you have to pay attention to who's telling you this stuff, right? For you, it's Islamic values, I would never compromise on. On dunya stuff, that's the stuff you guys should compromise on. Make it a little bit easier for you.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to come back to that list, inshallah. I'm probably going to do a show on that list itself, because the conversation, the conversation that it started was huge. It was a huge conversation. Anyway, so we are going in with the game plan. We're going in with only 5 deal breakers, guys. And we're also looking, you mentioned something about ascertaining, so filtering, basically, how serious is this person? What have they gone through to get to this stage? Yeah. Okay, cool. What else?
I'll give you an example of a filter. Sure. I just did a matrimonial event this past weekend. I walked up to a brother and I spoke to him and said, how far did you come to here? He said, I drove 8 hours. 8 hours to come meet the sisters at this event. I spoke to another brother at a different table. How far did you come from this? He said, I came 14 hours of driving to come to here to meet the sisters at this event.
Right.
Ask yourself, when was the last time someone drove 14 hours to meet you?
Yep. Okay.
That brother is far more serious than a person who's just like, that's my filter. If I'm a sister, I'm looking to see, what have you gone through to come meet me? What are you willing to do? It's not comfortable for a brother to come speak to your wali. It can sometimes feel intimidating, right? You don't know what he's going to expect. He can be very protective. He can be very strong. He can be pushing him to see how tough this man is, if he has resilience or not. And that's uncomfortable for a brother. So a lot of brothers avoid that situation. But a masculine man will not be intimidated by that situation. He said, look, I'll go speak to your wali. I'm serious about getting marrying you. That's how you filter. But many people don't even they just say, you know what? They listen to these excuses and they're just like, whatever. And the guy drags you along.
I wonder if there's something to be said for, there's like 2 levels of seriousness here, right? There's seriousness about getting married. For starters, right? So how serious is this person about marriage in terms of their mindset, in terms of what they've prepared, in terms of, how much they've thought it through, etc. Right? And an example of that is, coming to an event, paying to be on a particular, in a particular place. So investing, right? Investing in being in a space where he can meet other people who are serious. And then the next level of seriousness is how serious he is about you particularly, right? Which is as a deeper level, right? Okay. Okay. So explain, I would love to hear your take on this. I think a lot of sisters feel that when they first meet a brother, whether it's online or in real life, they need to be very businesslike and professional and weed out the time wasters, exactly as you said. It's very boom, 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 boom. So how, and maybe brothers feel the same way, I don't know, but what is the correct way, in your opinion, to allow the person to see something of your personality, something of what makes you, unique or special or different when you are first having those conversations. What's your advice with regards to that? How can we balance between having mu'addab and manners, but also having a bit of personality so that you don't scare all the brothers away with your kind of, harsh and tough, your hard talk? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes. So as many people know, you work in non-Muslim environments where we work in in America we call it the corporate environment, where men and women are in have to work together, developers, programmers, there's meetings. There's a line that you don't cross. And every workplace has this department just to prevent you, what we call the haram police. It's called the human resources. It starts with the same letter H, but it's for different. They're called human resources, we call it haram police. And what they do is prevent you from crossing the line. Right. So you are still naturally interacting with one another, but there's a line you can't cross. For as Muslims, there's a way you can naturally communicate with one another as long as you guys don't cross the line. But what the problem is, most people don't know how to do anything other than doing what I call the ping pong. The ping pong match, or the table tennis, as they say, is I'm going to ask you a question, then you answer, and you ask me a question, and we will do this back and forth until we both decide that we want to get married. Then you get married, and then 55% of you will stay married, and 45% of you will get divorced. So you great ping pong. And when you get divorced, what is the number one thing you hear across the board? You hear, well, if I knew he or she was like that, I would have never married them in the first place.
Wow.
What happened? They told me all the things I want to hear.
Right.
Well, great. So now you have professionals who know exactly what to tell you, and you will get married just like the person before you got married and the girl before you, after you will get married, because some of us men know exactly what to say to you for you to say yes. So my whole thing is, what happened and how did you discover the real them? Well, after we got married, I saw them in their interactions, and I saw a side of them I would have never seen by just doing this Q&A through friends and family, through online, through Zoom, through whatever coffee we're having together with the chaperone, all these different things. I never saw it, because what it is a job interview. When you sit in a job interview, what are you doing? You are putting your best foot forward so you can make sure you get the job.
Right.
That is not your personality. You sitting there sweating, being nervous in uncomfortable clothes, that is not you. The real you comes out after you get a job in this location, and you need to work in an environment, and now your personality comes out.
Right.
They see the real Naima. They see you, but they don't see Naima in the job interview. Job interview is showing your professional side. Yeah. How professional you can be. But that's exactly what people do at these speed dating events. They're putting their best foot forward. Assalamu alaikum, welcome, salam, please tell me. Yes, of course. They're just saying everything good, mashallah. This is exactly what I want to hear.
Right.
When get married, and then everything falls apart. So what I suggest is seeing people in different environments. And what I did with my events is I created these situations where you can see each other in these scenarios. There's no Q&A, because Q&A you can do anytime. You don't need to come to my event to do a Q&A. What people are doing is they're actually in these scenarios where I put these people in a situation where they're in a team environment, where a competitive environment. I can see how you act, how comfortable or uncomfortable are you with the opposite gender? How do you react in a situation where you're stressed, when you're happy, when you're frustrated, when you're offended? What happens when you get angry? I want to see the guy when he's angry. If you don't see it at my event, you want to see it at home when you get married with them, or you want to see it at my event? So I want to see where you interact. Are you cheating? Are you overly competitive? Are you dominant? Are you submissive? Are you like this? Are you a great team player? What are you like? And the only way I see that is through our setup that we've developed, these unique activities and games, again, staying within the halal boundaries, so you can see there's no touching or anything like that. I designed it very, very specifically in a way that, alhamdulillah, it works. We've been doing it for 10 years, all over the US and Canada. It works, but we've never, ever done it in the UK. I've been asked for 10 years to come to the UK, but I haven't. And I'll tell you why I haven't. Because you guys are an 11-hour flight away from me. And because we're the only ones in the United States doing it, everyone flies to us. Right. We'll do an event. The last event I did this Saturday, 16 different states people flew in. Now, our states, imagine the European
Your states
Union,
are like countries. They're like countries. It's like Europe.
5-hour flight. Imagine doing an event in London.
Yeah.
And then you have people traveling from France, people from Belgium, people from Holland, people from Spain, people from all over coming
From
to a
Moscow.
London event.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, what? How
Yeah.
is this possible? Because right now the speed dating people are watching this and saying, brother, I can't even get the local person to take a tube, one station to come to my place. I'm like, yes, when it doesn't work, I wouldn't go either. But when it works, people would take flights, because how much do you spend on your wedding cake? 500 pounds, 1,000 pounds? How much are you spending to find your other half?
Yeah.
You can't have you cannot have a wedding without a spouse.
So save your money, guys. Rather invest your money, right? All that money that you're thinking of, even though we've spoken about this before, any money you are thinking of spending on a wedding or anything like that, use it to pay for something quality. Okay, so I know the people are like dying to hear. I want to know a few things. I want to know when this event is. We want to know where the event is. And I would like everybody to get an idea of the process to actually successfully applying for the event. Go on, hit us with the info.
Okay, so the first, and this may be the only event, but this, because again, you're 11-hour flight away and people come to us. And by the way, we have people as far as the UK come to us.
Subhanallah.
The farthest I've had was a sister from Pakistan flying to Toronto, a brother from India, I think, flying to Los Angeles. Yeah.
Okay, these guys are definitely okay with relocating. Okay, something tells me that that's not a deal breaker for them.
For them, it's like they could be US citizens as well, or Canadian citizens, and they just relocated there. And they're like, oh, there's this event going on. Where's my next flight? And let me explain why people do this. Because as you're probably thinking, oh, we have a lot of speed dating events. Speed dating events were not designed for marriage. They're designed for dating. Non-Muslims don't get married off of it. Non-Muslims do not go in with the intention of marriage. The only people crazy enough to do that is us Muslims. It wasn't even designed for that. It's like taking lotion and using it for toothpaste. It doesn't work. It looks the same, but it doesn't design for brushing your teeth. So my whole idea, but it's white. It doesn't matter if it's white. It's toothpaste. We need toothpaste. So my whole idea is that we don't take a non-Muslim system and apply for Muslim marriages. It wasn't even designed for marriages for them. So our system, the way it works like this. Let's talk about what speed dating is for those who have probably experienced it, and a few of you have not. Basically, the way the system works for the way the typical organizations do speed dating, they say we have the ages between 22 to 40 years old. Right? Anyone who wants to apply between 22 to 40. But I'm sorry, sister, if you're 21, you can't come. Oh, brother, you're 41, you can't come. So basically, if you're out of this range, they've cut you off. You can never use our system. That's pretty sad. We don't do that. But nevertheless, so 22 to 40. Then when you sign up, it's first come, first serve. Can you just imagine which gender is probably the most? 80% sisters. So 80% sisters, and now you have 20% brothers. Now, of the 20% brothers, what do you got? I got a 22-year-old brother, a 23-year-old brother, a 24. Why are we getting these young brothers? Because they are having the hardest time to get married, because most sisters don't want to marry a 22-year-old brother. So that's why they pay to go to these events. And therefore, the older sisters are also applying for this event. So now you have a bunch of people, 80% sisters, 20% brothers, and a 40-year-old sister sitting with a 22-year-old brother and say, mashallah, I have a son your age.
It could be a love match. It could be a love match.
No, this is awkward for her.
Okay, so what do you guys do then? What do you guys do? How do you ensure the mix of ages and people and everything? Tell us about your process.
So the way we do it is you first fill out a survey. We ask you questions like, what is the oldest age you'll consider for marriage? We don't dictate who comes in. You do. So we look at everybody's answers. Let's say we look at every sister's answers, and we look at the consensus for the sisters that they said the oldest age that any sister chose was like 44. Okay. That means if I'm a 47-year-old brother like myself, almost 48, I will not be accepted into this event.
Right.
If the next event, the highest age was 48, I will get accepted in that event. So you, the attendees, select, not the administration who just decide, no, you get crossed off. You decide who gets in and who doesn't. That's for number one. Number two, since we know everybody who's coming because you are applying, we are handpicking the men and the women so there's an equal 1-to-1 ratio. Then we have tables. Even at each table, we know who's sitting. I know there's 4 sisters and 4 brothers per table, and at this table is exactly which brother is having which seat. So everything's been planned. Next, every single person that comes to the event will be a Half Our Deen member. If you're not a member, you'll get a free trial membership. Whatever it takes, we will give it to you. We're not trying to make the money off the membership. We are just giving it to you because we use it as a tool. When you get to the event, everyone will have a 6-digit number on their name badge. You type in that 6-digit, immediately their
all their
profile pops
stats
up.
comes up. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely brilliant,
It's
mashallah.
even better. It's even better than that. It calculates your compatibility. It looks at 158 marriage questions that you answered and they answered, and it tells you step by step how much percentage you are on religious views, on finances, everything. Then your priorities, your interests, everything shows up in an overall percentage, and then it breaks down granular level. It gets better. During the event, if you find someone interesting, it's not like an info commercial here, but if
can it get better? The question is, can it get any better? Oh my goodness.
As they say in the info commercials here in the US, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
But what happens is if you're interested in someone during the event, instead of telling an admin person or telling so-and-so, can you go ask them if they're interested in me? And they come back and say, no, they're not interested in you. They're like, and then you run away. No, that's not what happens. Instead, what happens is something completely different. If you're interested in somebody, you click on the little green tab next to their picture, but they don't get notified. They get no notification. If they click on you, no notification. If it's mutual, no notification. At midnight, when you go home and they're home and you're home, at 12:01 a.m., you both get an email notifying you if there's a mutual match. Now, sisters, let me explain to you how amazing this is. Imagine there's a brother in the community that you see regularly, and you always want to know if he's interested in speaking about marriage. You don't want to get rejected, and you don't want to be the only one that finds interest and him not finding interest, because imagine you show interest and he doesn't, and then he knows, and then you have to see each other in the community regularly. Very awkward.
Yeah,
no way. So imagine being able to show interest. If he shows interest, if he doesn't show interest, he'll never know that you were interested in him.
Right. I see.
Totally anonymous. 100% safe.
So we like that. 100. This is all the guarantees, guys. This is a spiel right now. Okay. This is a spiel. 100% rejection proof. Okay.
Okay. So now the numbers. Now all this sounds great, Baba Ali, but how well does it work? Do people really match up? What is the numbers? Our last event. These are the last 3 events. The last 3 events, we have 60%. We have 70% in Toronto. We had 60% in Cincinnati. And we had our new record after 10 years, 83%.
80%? 83. What happened? 83%. What happened with them?
What happened, this is the second time I've done that event in that city. So when we came to the event in that city on March 5th, the organization on that moment, they said, we are booking you for the rest of the year. We want at least 2 more events. We want it on August 13th, and we want on November 5th, which hasn't come up yet. But we want those 2 weeks. We want this. This is what we want. We just want you guys to come here 3 times a year. That's all we ask.
So what happened to the 83%? What does that number mean? What does it? What happened?
Means the person you were interested in and the person they were interested in, there was a match. Now, let's say in the real world, I come up to you and say, Assalamu alaikum, I'm interested in you. Now, you didn't know I was interested. Now you look at my profile, you're like, okay, maybe I'm interested in him. Now, this is a little bit biased. In our system, since you don't know anybody who's interested in you and they don't know who's interested, vice versa, it is totally unbiased because you won't show interest just because they found you interesting.
For sure.
But this is different for sisters and brothers. A little secret I'll leave in for the sisters. The way for brothers, the way it works is that we men, if we find you interesting, and if you find us interesting, you immediately become more attractive.
True.
For women, it's not that. For men, it doesn't work. For women, it doesn't work that way. Just because a guy finds you attractive, you don't suddenly find him attractive. Yeah. But for men, if you find him attractive, he finds you attractive. So if it's at a matrimonial event, if you went through an admin and you showed interest, and he knows that, he may just be interested because you're interested. Right. But he would have never noticed you before. But in our event, he has to show interest because he genuinely is interested in you, not because you just like him.
Okay.
That's what the difference is. And that's why it's better quality when you find when you do it that way, inshallah. But yeah, that's a couple of different things we've done, things uniquely. And the reason why we got 83% is because the first event we did, we had 61% with that same organization. And then I came back, everyone heard about it. Yeah. And I said, guys, I just ask you for one favor. And when I come to London, I'm going to ask for the same thing. Trust me, for the next 4 hours, try my process. Right. We're not doing speed dating. We're not doing Q&A. We're not doing the stuff you're used to. For 4 hours, try this process that I put together, and you'll see the same results, inshallah, that everybody else is. And people who buy into it, when the majority do, we get those high
Mashallah.
percentages.
Mashallah.
So,
I love it.
alhamdulillah.
I love it. Okay,
I
so
love it too.
let's yeah, well, if you like it, we love it. So at the end of the day, we just want to know, how can we apply? How can we
Easy.
be of the chosen ones to be there on November? What's the date?
November 12th and November 13th. We're doing 2 events, 2 days, because there's such a high demand of people asking. I've only put it on my Instagram. Already 201 people have applied for the event.
Akbar. Ooh.
And I just put it on my Instagram. I just put it on just a flyer on my Instagram. And this is the UK. We don't even have an audience in the UK.
Okay, so guys, those of you who are listening, listen. Don't sleep on this, okay? Because if you snooze, you lose. Because I know that there is an application process and there is a limited number of seats available, right? So
I'll be directly. Just 40 brothers, 40 sisters.
Oh my goodness.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it. Just,
okay.
But before I say 40, you're like, oh, that sounds still, I got a number. No, you don't. Because there is certain age group at table 1, another age group at table 2, table 4. So which age group fits you? So you may only have 8 seats available, not 40.
Okay.
Because I don't want, sisters, I'm not going to put you in an awkward situation where you're sitting with a brother who's half your age. This is all comfortable. Watch my videos on my Instagram and watch the background. People like, they're having a good time. They're just normal. No one's like nervous, right? they're comfortable,
which is good. I mean, it's you don't want people nervous when they're supposed to be. So there you go, guys. What do you want? Okay, all the details are going to be in the description, guys. If this sounds like it's for you, please, inshallah, get your name on the list and let us know how it went, and if there are any matches that are made as a result of these conversations, please come back to the channel and let us know. Baba Ali, what is the best way for people to apply for the London event?
Very easy. So it's put together by an organization called British Muslim Matchmakers. So the very simple URL is BritishMM.com.
Okay.
That's it. BritishMM.com. Just go sign it up. There's no cost for signing up. If you get picked, then they'll send you a request to make payment. Once you're given payment, you'll give them the exact location. And that's another thing we did not discuss. This is a private event. Right. Nobody knows who's at the event except for the people who get in. All you know, it's on November 12th, November 13th. It's from this time to this time. It's in London, and that's it. And everyone's like, where is it? You can't just show up.
Exclusivo.
It is extremely difficult. That's why people fly in. It is like getting golden ticket at Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. If you've seen that movie before.
Yes.
Everyone keeps applying, but only 40 of you will be selected. And that's why remember the filtering process we were talking about?
Yeah.
That is your huge level of filtering because, every person here was handpicked. There's no random person here.
What more can you say, guys? You certainly cannot compare that to that app that you all know about. Okay, so
which one? Are you talking about Mismatch? Or are you talking about Salami? I don't know which ones you're talking about, but
we don't mention names around here. Okay, but guys,
I'm not mentioning names either. I'm just saying that there's stuff weird out there. I just know if this has been working for you, this event isn't for you. But if you've done this and you're tired of this and you're messaging people and it just does not working out, no one's responding to you, especially brothers. I'm gonna tell you something, sisters have a different experience. Brothers, I know exactly how you feel because I've heard it over and over again. You message and message and message, no response. You even match with people, no response. And you're wondering what's going on. This stuff is just not working. Well, if you want to do the same thing, you can get the exact same results. Try something different. And I can guarantee you, you will say to yourself, wow, if it works or doesn't work, you will 100% come back on this. And you can say it in the comments and you can hear me and save this video clip that this will be completely different than anything you've ever tried before. And that's why our results are different too. Do things differently and your results will be different. I'm excited, as you can tell. First time I'm coming back to London to do a matrimonial event. I've always done stand-up comedy. And so since, by the way, you are hosted by a comedian, it will be kind of fun and engaging. And I will, inshallah, try to make you laugh as well. So we're gonna have a fun time, inshallah.
Guys, seriously, I'm looking forward to hearing the stats from our first London event. You guys can help to make it a success. All of you who are serious about finding somebody who are willing to trust Baba Ali and his process, please go to the link. It's www.britishmm.com to apply. ASAP. Otherwise, those 80 seats are going to be gone and you're not going to be there. And Baba Ali is threatening to say he's not going to come back to London. So
you got it too far. You're an island this way. Look at the weather.
You may need to be booking a ticket to Canada or to the US if you want to get to the next one. So make sure you don't miss this one. Baba Ali, as always, it's a pleasure to have you here. jazakAllahu kullu khair. And imagine, I'm just thinking of all the reward for you and your wife and your family and your team for all the barakah that comes from all of those couples and these new families that are created as a result, by Allah's grace, of this system. So as your sister, I just want to say, that's a really beautiful legacy to leave in the world. May Allah accept all your efforts.
I mean,
yeah.
I've done a bunch of different projects, as most of you guys know, from my YouTube videos, my stand-up comedy, to the kids shows. But by far, if I had to trade all of it in for this, I would. And the reason why I love this so much is because, yes, it's nice to make people laugh and etc. But it is truly priceless when I see people come together and they're like, I got married because my husband or my wife, we met through your program. We met through your event. I can't tell you how many times this thing has happened, and that makes my day. No matter how much stress I'm going through, because a lot of this looks easy from the outside, it is a lot of stress to put 80 people into a room, to hand select these people, to go through all the answers and look at their information, etc. It is very, very difficult. It takes hundreds of hours, literally 200 plus hours to do per event. But at the very end, when you see the results and you see the people getting married and you see it's priceless. My wife asked her, I said, if I became a very, very rich multi-millionaire, do you think I was still doing Half Our Deen? And she said, without hesitation, she said yes. She didn't even say, but if I stand up comedy, I will give up in a heartbeat. All the other stuff, I'll give up in a heartbeat. Seriously, it's work for me. But this doesn't feel like work. There's a great saying that says, find something that you love to do and you never work a day in your life.
Very true. Very true. Well, I pray that I'm going to selfishly make dua, say, Ya Rab, please also give me a little bit of that if anything comes from this platform. By the way, but let me say from your side of it, and again, this is something amazing. And this is why I want to come and announce this on your platform. I haven't announced it anywhere yet. This is one of the most amazing podcasts you guys are going to see out there, period, hands down. This sister, I can't tell you how many times I haven't told her this, she's hearing this for the first time, how many times your name has come through of people finding your amazing podcast, hands down, by far, and you can quote me on this, by far the most I've heard in anything in the last 16 years I've been doing being Baba Ali. Whatever you're doing is making an impact on people. I know sometimes you don't see it because you may not hear it, but I constantly hear your name more than anybody else's. And it's amazing. And whatever impact you're making is impacting people. It doesn't feel like it because we're just here talking to each other, but we don't hear from the people who are listening. But they are. They truly are. And I want to be around people. I want to be around people that are doing good because there's barakah in that. And I want to be part of that barakah. I don't know. One of the du'as, by the way, I'm done here. I'll say one last thing, inshallah. One of the du'as I constantly make to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bring me towards companions and projects that bring me closer to you, and take me away from companions and projects that take me away from you. So I don't know how I'm going to be contacted by different people, how different people enter my world, but somehow, some way we connected. We met each other a long, long time ago on a thing in Malaysia, and then somehow we reconnected again here. And this is not, there is no coincidence in this dunya, right? Whatever reason. So if I'm hoping that if something good comes out of this barakah comes out of it, you are sharing part of this barakah, inshallah, and we can really see our fruits of our efforts on the day of judgment, inshallah. That's my whole thing. I love that. I love that. May Allah accept all our efforts, guys. May Allah bless every single one of you with, a spouse who will be the coolness of your eyes, that you may walk through this dunya and be reunited in Jannah. Ameen. Brother Baba Ali, you're literally doing the Lord's work. So we're going to leave you to it, inshallah. And guys, don't forget to go to the link, put your applications in, and come back and tell us how it was. Maybe we'll do a debrief afterwards, inshallah, back on the channel.
I love it. Inshallah.
All right, jazakAllahu khairan, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the other side, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.